another video. Y'all, I'm so super excited to bring this video to you. I will give a disclaimer. This will be pretty short because I do have to get ready to work. If you didn't watch the last video, then this right here is makeup. All of this be all over this. So forgive me for that. I want to talk to you about my experience with going to church today. The last time I went to church was last year, and it took me about an hour and some change to get there. I met this girl, shout out to her, at a random event. She invited me to her church. The church was fairly small, was maybe like 10 or 15 of us, maybe even 7 people, but it was such a strong impact, and they really reeled me in to feel like, you know what, this is my church home. I can keep going. It is a bit of a distance, and now that I picked up a second job, it's not the easiest to drive all the way there, come back in time, you know, for work. So, and then plus the pandemic happened, so there was no physically going into church. So my girl, another girl I know, she recently got baptized. I congratulated her, and on my own, I wanted to get baptized as well last year because I just want to give my life over to God. I just want to live righteously and just really turn my life over for the better. But, you know, things in my life at the time, I didn't feel like it was the right time that I can really fully commit in the way that I would like to. And then also I felt like you can't just go to a church and be like, oh, okay, baptize me. Now I'm gonna go on by my way. Like, I feel like you have to belong to that church. So I was telling my friend, I'm like, look, you know, congratulations. I too was, you know, wanting to get baptized. Just the circumstances weren't really the best. I didn't have a church home. And she's like, look, you can go with me to church. I told her my apprehensions about church, that I feel like there's a lot of bad energy, demonic energy. There's infidelities in the congregation, child molestation, like a bunch of different things that I've experienced and that I've heard about. And I'm like, nope, no way. I'm very spiritual. I'm not super religious. I don't need to be in a church. I'm just going to have my connection with God. If you know me personally, every single morning, like clockwork, I always, as soon as I wake my eyes, before I touch my iPad, because y'all know I'll be on my iPad, before I touch my iPad, my cell phone, anything, I just say, thank you so much, God, for waking me up. Thank you for giving me a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food for me to eat, my eyes, my limbs, my mouth. I'm able to speak. I can think for myself. I can think clearly. I can write my hands. I can be able to get around where I need to be. My bills are paid. I'm able to live afloat. Like, I am so grateful. But I pray that one time, and then throughout the day, like if something good happens to me, I always give my thanks to God. I live a fairly decent, like good life, and I'm not longing for more. I don't want anything more. And today's topic really did speak to me specifically. And I'm gonna just say this. So when I drove in to go to the church, there were a lot of cars. So I'm like, okay, it's people here. And there were black people directing traffic. There was black people getting out the car. And the area that I live in is not predominantly black. So I'm like, wow. Okay, my people are here. My friend did tell me, hey girl, it's very diverse. So like age groups, races and things like that. But I saw mostly black people. I'm like, okay, my people here. So I go and I park because I got there before her, and I just, you know, she was letting me know that she was on her way. And so as she's parking, I get out, and there's like a group of guys that come with their Bibles. They had to be like 25, 26 years old, maybe younger, but just to see like brotherhood, like a group of guys get together and go to church together. When I did go in, like when she got out the car, we woke together, and you were just greeted with like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Every angle you look at is somebody waving. It just was very welcoming, very family oriented, and it felt really good. A lot of people went there individually and didn't go with a group. And to my surprise, I thought that she went with her family, but she actually goes by herself. And for me, I don't really like going places by myself. I'd be quick to call somebody up like, hey, I'm about to go to so-and-so. Like, can you go with me? But this particular church, I can understand why you feel so comfortable just going by yourself. And you don't need other people to accompany you to praise God. Like, there are the fact that there's like people that look like me, like-minded individuals. We're in this space for the same reason, whether you're different. You have a super, super strong faith, you're just getting to know God, you have a different denomination, whatever. There's nothing forced upon you. There's like nothing down your throat. There's not like, no, there's no theatrics. It's just like quoting scripture, relating it, making it in today's time so that you understand it, you grasp it, you get the word. And I'm just so grateful to be there. They have a lot of different groups you can join. They have a training program where you can train and be a host, so you can host your own group or event. There's a lot of different activities, so I look forward to more what's to come. I did take some notes, so I want to read you guys a couple of things. one thing that stood out to me, the first thing that he said, and I was like, oh, okay, let me get my little pen out, was stop talking to God about your problem and start telling your problem about God. And so I feel like that spoke to me, because when you speak to your problem, your thing, whatever it is that you're going to, like, hey, I know somebody higher, like this ain't got nothing to do with me. It's a different feeling than running to God, please, please help me out this thing, help me out this thing. You, whatever is bothering you, whatever that problem is, you have to let that thing know you are not bigger than God. You are not bigger than you think you are. Like, so that, okay, that caught me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in there. So then, they was talking about, you know, he starts speaking about how prayers come in, like instant prayer, spontaneous prayer, or like a prayer on the way. So instant prayer, like you pray to God and boom, it just happened. And normally when things happen for you and come so easy, you don't really appreciate them the way you would if you actually had to work hard to endure something. So just outside of prayer, it's like if somebody gave you $1 million, you in that initial moment, like, boom, I got $1 million. But you didn't have to do anything for it. It's different when you actually put in that work, you actually go through something. You want to appreciate it more. Somebody gift you something, you might not take much care of it because it wasn't your money. You didn't have to work that 9 to 5, save up all this money to buy this thing. It was just given to you. So you don't really appreciate it as much. And that's the same thing with prayer. If you pray to God and just give it to you right away, you might not appreciate that prayer as much. Then you have the spontaneous prayer that like, oh shoot, hold on, that was right on time. I didn't expect that. And then you have the prayer where you're constantly praying as you're going through this thing, and God is blessing you throughout the way and like staying with you through this journey, or you don't even know when that blessing is going to come, but you keep your faith in God. Like that's that hard work type prayer. That's that, like, when somebody asks you, so how did you get through this? How did you do that? You can tell them, like, I just put my faith in God. I just put my trust in God. Like, I was going through, I didn't know when it was going to happen. And that testimony can draw somebody else to believe as well. Like, dang, you know what? Maybe I should give my life over to God. Boom. So that's what was talked about. And then it was like, God cannot give anything without your permission. You have to give God access, which is very true. God is going to give many blessings, has many blessings to give. But if you're not putting God in your life, how is that's going to happen? It's just not going to just happen for you. You have to grant God access into your life. We have to pray. We have to be grateful. We have to give thanks. We are not entitled. We don't deserve. Like yeah. So only way you can really start transforming your life in a way that you should is if you allow God in. So that was boom. Like, y'all, I was taking, I don't know if y'all see it, I was taking notes on notes. I'm like, look, I'm here today. I'm present. And another thing, I didn't even feel compelled to grab my phone at all. I didn't text. I didn't look at it. I didn't look down. And then I didn't even notice, but like nobody else had their phone out, like texting, unless they had the Bible app, or they were, you know, they didn't have like a physical book like I did and they were typing in their notes. But just in general, like I didn't even realize, I didn't say, okay, we're in church, I'm not going to use my phone. I just was so compelled and so interested and so excited and just looking around like, dang, these are my people, like beautiful girls, beautiful guys, like black, just melanin, like, you know, it was a few white people in there and they just fit right in. Like, it was just, it felt really good. Like, I was really happy about being there. So then the next one, it says, when people's prayers are answered, they go on their way instead of keep pouring into God. And people do that too. So you know how you be like, yeah, you only used me for what you needed me for. And then when you got what you wanted, then you just bounced. It's the same thing. People will pray, God, please give me this other job. I'm working so hard. God, please just do this for me. I need this job to come through so I can pay these bills. They pay those bills. They get that job and they forget about God because it's like, oh yeah, I got you for what I needed you for. Thank you. Be on my merry way. And one thing that the pastor was saying is like, that first blessing is just a test to see if you just gonna keep going about your way or you gonna keep pouring into me. That first blessing ain't nothing to what I got compared to what's about to come. And so a lot of us, just in general, like outside of religion, your relationship with God, we will use people or stick around for this particular thing. And then once we get it, we bounce. Was it really a genuine relationship where it's like once you got what you wanted, you just bounced? And that's not cool. And so he was, you know, gave a little story about, you know, just even I'm all over the place, forgive me. He gave a story about how this farmer was having issues with, you know, growing the farm and harvesting and being able to make money from it. So he, you know, went into church, prayed about it, and then months go by, the pastor don't see this person anymore, and then, you know, finally see him somewhere, like, hey, what's up? Like, where you been at? You ain't been at church. And it's like, oh yeah, you know, God really blessed me. Like, I'm making money now. Like, I have a bunch of harvests. Like, we're doing good. And it's like, oh, okay. So now that you got what you wanted, you just left God hanging. And so that's a sense of entitlement. And he related it to when a person owes you money, right? And then they finally pay you back. It's like, finally, about time. Like, you owed me this. I deserve this. I gave you this money. You better give it back to me. Some people view God that way as well. When you constantly praying for something and then it finally comes and then it's like, about time. Like, God owe you something. No, it don't work like that. So, and one thing that I feel like is really hard for people is when your life is going great to still pour into God. So that goes back to what he said when he was like, sometimes it's a such thing as being too saved. It's a such thing as feeling too much wholeness, because when you have that slight desperation for God, or you don't feel that need for God, you just let it go, like, oh, I'm good, I'm complete. Some people will go to church, please God, bless me with my husband, bless me with my husband, and you get your husband and now you lose sight of God. It's like, oh yeah, I got you what I need you for, and now I'm on by my way. And the problem is we look at things and other people to complete us and not God. So when you feel like that husband is going to complete you, that job is going to complete you, that $1 million is going to complete you, you're not worried about God. But then let me tell you, when those things go away, what do you have? Now you're going to go back and ask for more. No, like, God should be the one that's completing you. God should be making you feel fulfilled. You're not going to be completely full, and you shouldn't be, because you still should be asking, you know, just not asking, forgive me. You still should be pouring into God, saying your prayer, your gratitude, your thanks. Are you really thankful for something? If it's just like, oh, thanks, and then you going about your way, or you keep pouring into God the way you should. So that was cool with me. I was like, I said yes. And then it was just saying deliverance is only the introduction. So like I said, that first prayer is just like your introduction to God. Like, hey, God gonna make it happen for you. And that's just the little stuff. Like, you don't understand how capable God is in changing your life and making things 10 times better for you. Like, that one little blessing might be like, dang, but it's like, that's not your time to just bounce. Keep pouring into God and you will keep being blessed. And I think it's important to share the word with other people as well. And I don't know, I just felt really, really good. And I'm excited to tell my friends about it. And I would like other people to come as well. Like, it's just super dope. Let me see if there's anything else. And one thing he said is, if you forget how it feels to be broken, you won't empathize with the broken. You won't have compassion for others. So you might have been, and that's, he talked about feeling and being numb. You would rather feel than be numb. Who wants to have no feeling at all? When you have no feeling, you have no connection. So I might have been down bad, God forbid, like homeless one day, but I've been blessed. I'm in my mansion right now. I'm living life and I'm good. And I go past the homeless person and I'm numb and I don't feel it no more. I have no compassion. It's like, oh yeah, sorry that happened to you. Like, you have to still be able to feel, because at some point in life you were actually right there. So what are you going to do to give back? How are you going to help a person? Do you remember what it was like to be in that position? So that was, you know, that topic was really dope as well. And I won't go into too much else, but it was a really, really great day. I'm so super blessed and I'm grateful that I was able to be there. And like I said, it just felt really good to be around like-minded people. So I don't know. I can't quote scriptures. I don't know super much about the Bible. Like, I know some stories, but I'm still learning. But to know that I can go to a place of worship every single day, every single week, and kind of bring me back and keep me grounded, and I keep these behaviors up during the week, is so dope. And it's cool because, like, I'm an adult now. I'm making my own decisions, so nobody's forcing me, telling me to go or whatever. Like, I'm actually going on my own, and I'm so super grateful. And whether you go to church or Catholic church or the mosque or whatever, just make sure that you keep your faith strong and you pray and you tap into your spirituality. It's very important. As we all know, there is a spiritual warfare going on, and it is time to be grounded and connected. I appreciate y'all watching this video. I'm about to get ready for work, so y'all have a great day. Peace.